You know, we're talking to you as Israel's most decorated soldier, talking about a war that is now, if not the longest, but approaching to be the longest in Israel's history. I have no idea where this goes. What do you think?
It's clear that the two clocks are not synchronized. The military operation needs, so to speak, if you ask the general, needs many months from now, probably more, and the pace by which we lose the legitimacy for this operation as a result of the operation itself, which is causing the loss of life of innocent citizens on the other side, is ticking much faster. So we have to bridge on it.
There is so much anger, as you alluded to, right, around the world as to the loss of civilian life in Gaza, and the Americans in particular seem to be asking for results, not just intent.
We tried to do our best in Gaza. It ended up, however you look at it, in more than the world can swallow of collateral damage. Some governments, and even in America, there is certain uneasiness. I believe that we'll do it somewhat changes in style when you come to the southern part of Gaza. There is even differences in the nature of urban landscape between Gaza, which is high towers, and Khan Yunis and Rafah, which is much lower and more crowded, dense kind of structures. I believe that we will try to learn some of the lessons and try to reduce the number of casualties in order to minimize the damage to civilians. I hope it will work.
There's talk of the war, then there's the talk of after the war. The former defense minister and prime minister says fury at the leadership in Israel goes beyond the despair and rage that the October 7th attack happened, beyond the brutality of the war. There's frustration that there does not appear to be a plan for Gaza. His advice is something Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu doesn't want to hear: work with the Palestinian Authority.
In order to be able to hand over the Gaza Strip to the Arab multinational force, that needs a lot of trust. That needs, they expect to know that when they do those steps, they are promoting a new chapter that might include steps toward the two-state solution.
So that solution is one that Netanyahu would just tear up like a piece of paper.
If this won't work, we might find ourselves in a deadlock. We might find ourselves in gambling on widening the war into a regional war, which I don't believe serve anyone, neither our enemies nor ourselves.
What is your sense of what may be changing on the north, on the border with Lebanon and with Hezbollah?
Look, I cannot predict, and I don't think that anyone else can predict. We do not have an interest in deterring a full-scale war in the north. The Americans, they are deploying military assets in the region in order to deter Iran and Hezbollah. So I think that Iran and Hezbollah might be deterred. We cannot be sure.
Are you worried about the Americans, about their patience?
No, I'm not worried. To tell you the truth, Biden is highly admired here. It's clear that the more time passes and more especially is worried about civilian losses and about the humanitarian needs. And we have to find the ways to do maximum in order to provide it, not just because Biden wants it, because that's the right way to run a war.
I understand that the Israeli public, the polls are pretty clear that they want Netanyahu to go. But in terms of within his own party and within the government, how much pressure is there for him to go?
The main responsible for this unprecedented blunder in our history is Netanyahu. And 70%, which include 40% of his own voters, say that he has to resign. You know, I tell people in any normal country, he would have resigned on October 8th. But Israel is not normal country in this regard, and that's why we are in this internal split.
If ever there was a time when peace felt close, it was when he was prime minister, jostling with Yasser Arafat at Camp David while Bill Clinton was president in 2000. A two-state solution was suggested, but a deal didn't come to be. His thought now? Don't consider that moment ancient history. Just maybe this is precisely the time to revive a similar deal.
I will forever see that picture of you and Arafat trying to squeeze through the door at Camp David, Bill Clinton, all the laughter, that moment of getting close to a deal that wasn't signed, that this two-state solution never came to be. Is what you are proposing now similar to that? I mean, a lot of time has gone by, but how similar would they be?
I'm a great believer in the old Roman saying that if you don't know which port you want to reach, no wind will take you there. Leadership has to have vision, have to have objective, never lose sight of where are you heading. Otherwise, you don't know how to act at the present. And I think that that the right vision for Israel in the long run is two-state solution. It has been 20 years ago, it's now, and will remain the same. Other alternative is a dead end. So what we need now is to a government, unity government, I believe without Netanyahu and without the racist Messianic guys. And this government has to run the war and into the next stages, probably less violent or lower profile than the present one, and into a new election where these issue, together with many other ones, will be clarified and decided by the people.
I cannot thank you enough for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.